How did one of the most iconic trucks vanish from American roads? These trucks did not disappear because they were bad. From 1956 to 1976, most states capped truck combinations at 65 feet total length. That meant the truck and trailer together. In 1976, many states increased that to 75 feet. Within that box, every extra inch of hood meant less trailer space, and less trailer space meant less money. A conventional truck with a long hood used up 27 feet just for the tractor. That left only 38 feet for the trailer in a 65-foot combination. A cabover with a 19-foot tractor could pull a 46-foot trailer under the same legal limit. For a trucking company running 100 loads per month, that difference could mean survival or bankruptcy. Engineers had a radical idea. What if you put the driver on top of the engine instead of behind it? Pure physics. Moving the cab over the engine shortened the tractor by 8 feet. Those 8 feet could go to the trailer. The cab over engine design put the driver above the front axle, with the engine under the tilting cab, and no hood stretching out front. Cabovers were not just a style choice. As Smart Trucking explains, they were a legal hack. Put the cab over the engine, shrink the tractor, grow the trailer. The 1973 Freightliner FLT86 cabover measured 19 feet from bumper to fifth wheel. A conventional Peterbilt 359 measured 27 feet. That 8-foot difference was pure gold. Let me show you what this meant in real money. A cabover hauling freight could carry significantly more cargo than a conventional truck within the same legal limits. But wait, cabovers were not just more profitable because of cargo space. They had superpowers that conventional trucks could not match. Ask anyone who had to go back into Old City docks or thread through downtown Chicago. Nothing could touch a cabover. The shorter wheelbase meant the pivot point was closer to the driver, giving sharper turns and easier trailer placement. Smart Trucking puts it perfectly. When it comes to backing into loading docks and winding through heavy traffic, nothing can compare with a cabover truck. You sat above the engine instead of behind it. Fewer blind spots. A better 180-degree view. You could see pedestrians and cyclists that conventional drivers missed completely. By the mid-1970s, cabovers captured over 30% of the heavy truck market. Freightliner built their entire business around them. International's Transtar became iconic. Kenworth's K100 was everywhere. Between 1970 and 1980, cabover sales grew 300%. They weren't just trucks. They were the smart solution to America's length laws. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. There was one group that wasn't celebrating the cabover revolution. The men who had to live in them 11 hours a day, 300 days a year. And their complaints were about to change everything. Fleet managers loved cabovers because they made more money. But the guys turning the steering wheels? Their stories tell a very different tale. Joel Scritchfield drove for 32 years, and he remembers cabovers perfectly. He said, "I wish they would bring the cabover back. They are easier to drive in the city and jockey locally." But Dan Wiles, who drove a 1974 International Transtar, tells a different story. He said, "Illinois had the roughest interstates. My neck and lower back can tell the story." Two drivers, same trucks, completely different experiences. Drivers who worked in cities loved cabovers. Ray from Truck Forums explains why. More maneuverable in city traffic and visibility was much better. A milk delivery driver in New York City put it simply. Maneuvering them in New York City traffic made it bearable. You could park in spaces conventional trucks could not attempt. You could see exactly where your front bumper was going. Downtown deliveries became manageable instead of impossible. Tight docks, narrow alleys, heavy traffic. Cabovers turned urban nightmares into routine deliveries. But here is what the fleet managers did not understand. Living in a cabover was different from just driving one. In order to get to the sleeper bunk, the driver must stand on the seat and crawl over the engine. There is no reaching into the sleeper from the driver's seat. Pat McCaig drove an early white cabover. He said the ride was terrible, like riding a bucking bronco, and not ergonomically designed at all. Dan Wiles' Transtar had spring ride suspension. Every pothole, expansion joint, and rough patch hit the cab before any suspension could absorb it. His neck and back paid the price for decades. You sat directly above a diesel engine. No insulation could completely block that constant mechanical noise, hour after hour, day after day. The engine doghouse took up cab space. Sleeper access required crawling. There was no room to stretch or relax. Harley Farley, who has been driving since 1989, sums up the anti-cabover position in 2 words. They suck. Here's the truth nobody talks about. For urban delivery and local work, cabovers were perfect tools. For long-haul operations, they were a punishment. Chad Mack drove the last generation of cabovers. He said they did away with the doghouse, and he would drive one again. The late models solved many problems, but by then, it was too late. The solution was obvious. Use cabovers for city work, and use conventional trucks for highway work. Match the truck to the job. But trucking companies could not afford 2 different truck types. They needed one truck that could handle urban delivery on Monday and long haul on Tuesday. Want to know what happened next? While drivers debated comfort versus capability, something was happening in Washington that would make the entire argument pointless. Politicians were about to rewrite the rules of trucking, and their solution would destroy the cabover's main advantage overnight. Everything you've heard about driver comfort and ride quality, none of it mattered after 1982. Trucking deregulation was sweeping America. Politicians promised lower freight costs and more efficient transportation. The Surface Transportation Assistance Act of 1982 was about to change everything. But not in the way most people think. Congress did not ban cabovers. They did not mandate safety equipment that cabovers could not meet. They did something much more subtle and much more devastating. They changed what got measured. Remember those 65 and 75-foot overall limits? The Surface Transportation Assistance Act rewrote the rules completely. Instead of regulating total combination length, it standardized trailer lengths on the national network. The act focused on trailer length, not total bumper-to-bumper length. It forbade states from enforcing overall length limits on truck-tractor combinations on federal highways. Once only the trailer length mattered, you could hook that 48 or 53-foot trailer to any tractor. A long-nose conventional with a big sleeper, no problem. Nobody cared how long the hood was anymore. Big carriers looked at their balance sheets. Smart Trucking explains what happened. To increase driver comfort, their price increased as well. Sales started to dwindle, as a conventional rig was almost the same price and considerably more comfortable. The engineering advantage that made cabovers profitable vanished overnight. All the disadvantages remained. Proof through industry numbers. In 1982, cabovers captured 35% of new truck sales. In 1985, market share dropped to 18%. In 1990, it was down to 8%. In 1995, it fell below 3%. In 2000, it was effectively zero for long-haul operations. But here is the most important fact. The transition took nearly 20 years. Cabovers did not disappear immediately. They died slowly as companies replaced aging fleets with conventional trucks. Truck manufacturers had invested billions in cabover development. Those investments became stranded assets. Peterbilt discontinued their cabover line. Kenworth stopped K100 production. International phased out the Transstar. One by one, manufacturers abandoned the design. But wait, there is more to this story. While American manufacturers retooled for conventional trucks, European companies doubled down on cabover development. The reason was simple. European length limits remained based on overall combination length. A conventional truck in Europe still faced the same cargo space limitations that American trucks had faced before 1982. European truckers needed maximum trailer length within legal limits. So, European manufacturers improved cabover ride quality. They simplified maintenance access. They enhanced safety features. They solved the exact problems that American drivers complained about. The American truck industry made a massive strategic mistake. Instead of improving cabovers to address driver complaints, they abandoned the design as soon as regulations allowed it. European manufacturers took the opposite approach. They treated driver complaints as engineering challenges to solve, not reasons to quit. Tord from the forums explains the difference. He says modern cabovers are nothing like what you see in this article. 30 years ago, they were more modern than what you can find in the United States today. But that is not the end of the story. While American manufacturers walked away from cabovers, European engineers were building trucks that solved every problem American drivers remembered. And they were proving that the design could be better than conventional trucks in almost every way that mattered. The year American manufacturers built their last cabovers, Europe was launching the most advanced trucks in the world. They were all cabovers. In Europe, the rules never shifted the same way. Many countries still regulate the overall length of the whole combination. With a fixed overall cap, cabovers still give maximum trailer length. Exactly like the United States in the 1960s and the 1970s. Add narrow roads, ancient cities, and tight yards. Maneuverability and visibility stay king. Why Europe kept cabovers is simple. Different rules created different winners. Overall length limits meant cabovers still had their legal advantage. They built modern cabovers that solved the comfort and safety problems American drivers hated. They succeeded. Sustained engineering investment focused on solving problems instead of abandoning designs. Arek from the forums explains the difference. He notes that the Renault Magnum in 1990 introduced the all-flat floor. Today's European trucks have fully isolated, air-suspended cabs, and are quiet and comfortable. Modern European cabovers feature fully flat floors, no engine doghouse, air-suspended cabs for smooth rides, luxury interiors that rival conventional trucks, advanced noise insulation, easy maintenance access. The 2023 Mercedes-Benz Actros cabover achieves better fuel economy than most American conventional trucks. The Volvo FH cabover meets stricter emission standards than current United States requirements. Scania's cabover can operate for 120,000 miles between major service intervals. Modern European cabovers are more reliable, quieter, and easier to maintain than the cabovers American drivers rejected in the 1980s. European cabovers feature technologies that American conventional trucks are just beginning to adopt. Predictive cruise control that reads road conditions 2 miles ahead. Automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection. Lane departure warning integrated with steering assist. Semi-autonomous highway driving capabilities. The United States walked away from cabovers right as Europe doubled down and evolved them. While we focused on driver comfort and regulatory compliance, Europe focused on engineering excellence and operational efficiency. The result is clear. Their trucks are better than ours in almost every way that matters for commercial transportation. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Cabovers never fully disappeared from North America. They moved down a weight class and found new jobs. And now, with electric trucks and urban freight, the concept might be quietly making a comeback. While long-haul cabovers vanished from interstates, something interesting happened in cities and medium-duty markets. Isuzu has led North American cabover sales since 1986, selling tens of thousands per year into urban niche markets. Why do they still work? City delivery, tight docks, narrow streets. The same advantages that made highway cabovers successful in the 1970s are still at work. Maximum cargo in limited space and exceptional maneuverability. Who uses them? Delivery companies, urban freight operators, port operations. Businesses that need maneuverability more than highway comfort. How have they evolved? Modern medium-duty cabovers solve the comfort problems that killed their highway cousins. Better suspension, quieter cabs, and easier maintenance access make them far more livable. There has also been an electric revolution. Electric trucks are bringing the cabover layout back to heavy-duty applications. Tesla's Semi is essentially a modern cabover design, and European electric trucks follow the same pattern. Electric drivetrains do not need long hoods. Maximum cargo space within legal limits matters again. The engineering advantages that made cabover successful in the 1970s apply to electric freight. Current worldwide market share tells the story. Europe, 60% cabovers and 40% conventional trucks. Asia, 75% cabovers and 25% conventional trucks. Australia, 45% cabovers and 55% conventional trucks. North America, 99.7% conventional trucks and 0.3% cabovers. American trucking became an island of conventional design in a world where cabovers still dominate. We abandoned superior technology because our regulations changed, not because the engineering was flawed. Abandoning cabovers cost American trucking more than efficiency. It cost our innovation leadership. European manufacturers now lead the world in autonomous driving technology, advanced safety systems, and fuel efficiency engineering. American manufacturers are playing catch-up in technologies that cabover development would have driven decades earlier. The cabover story reveals a pattern that is still shaping American trucking. When regulations create challenges, we adapt by abandoning superior technologies instead of improving them. When bureaucrats change rules, we accept mediocrity instead of demanding excellence. But cabovers may never rule American interstates again. In cities, ports, and electric freight applications, the concept still makes perfect sense.